If I am going to be very frank on the camera, I will get arrested back in my country.
Right, let's talk about gaps then.
Yeah.
If you become a education minister of Myanmar for one day, what will be the measure or steps you will be taking as an education minister?
I think I will get arrested too if I answer to that. Going on. I would say that we are the least developing country currently because of a lot of situations right now.
What do you think how AI is going to help your school growing, or how AI going, because artificial intelligence is a new thing now?
By 2030, 99% of the jobs will be gone because of AI. That is information that we receive. We have like a lot of chaos happening in the classrooms. I think that is the only way to go in future, since we have uncertainty future in the job market to actually unleash the other all kinds of opportunities for our students and make sure that they can have what they wanted and their voice are being heard.
How you see your school after 10 years?
Because we don't want to leave behind. Because we want to make sure that there is like some part of us going to have a place in the world, especially our new generation.
So welcome to this podcast known as Let's Talk Education, where we are going to talk about education system of Myanmar and comparing the education system of Myanmar with other different countries.
Probably a dangerous one that is coming ahead.
So welcome to this podcast known as Let's Talk Education, where we are going to talk about education system of Myanmar and comparing the education system of Myanmar with other different countries.
Sure.
So before we proceed ahead, I want your introduction. Maybe your name, which school you belongs to, and what is your vision for your school?
Sure. So my name is I'm P, and they call me Teacher P back at home. So in Myanmar, we usually, always have a lot of high respect for the teachers. That's why we also in the teaching profession. So they call me Teacher P, and I am currently managing 2 schools, 3 campuses. One is the Starlight Starbright Preschools. I mean, 2 other Starlight Starbright Preschools and Stardom School of Yangon, which is now delivering the dual pathway for students from K to 8, and we are blending the American curriculum into our own local government curriculum.
And what is the strength of school overall? All the schools strength. How many kids are there?
Actually, we are in between like 250 to 300 altogether, but it's not about the quantity for me. It's about the quality education that we deliver to each and every student, and I would like to share about that today.
Right. Before we start ahead, I want to understand which sports you focus on in your school.
Sports?
Yeah.
Oh, we are very big on football.
Mhm.
So our students here, even my colleagues here, she has a son, and he is very, very good at soccer in our school. So we have a big soccer field, and I am not very good in soccer, but our students are.
Amazing. So let's start from here, where we talk about your school is run by or focus on American curriculum, right? Why American curriculum?
Why American curriculum is because I believe that American curriculum actually allows children opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations, think critically, and be themselves without having too much pressure of like memorizing, and also at the same time, we are actually going into a future that is unknown, and there are a lot of uncertainties in the future, and I think American curriculum allow our kids to explore the uncertain zone and advance themselves with problem solving skills and those skills that are required for the future.
Can you elaborate more? You mentioned on one thing
Mhm.
that students don't need to take any kind of pressure.
Mhm.
They explore more things. And can you elaborate more? How?
Okay, so the thing is, our teachers are currently like, we are getting there. I would like to talk about that gap later on. But our students now, they can think like critically and, be in the classrooms and do a meaningful conversation to the teacher, engage and analyze and imagine and recreate what they learn and present them into a new kinds of, what they created. So
Do you think
I
American,
hope that's what.
American curriculum focus on creating leaders or what?
Sorry.
American curriculum focuses to create leaders or what?
I believe that every curriculum, every teacher is trying to create leaders, but it's about how we create them. So for us, we are only inspired school for the American curriculum, but then what we really believe is to actually unleash the other, all kinds of opportunities for our students and make sure that they can have what they wanted and their voice are being heard, they are being seen, and children who are not just stuck in the textbooks, but children who can go beyond the classroom and textbooks.
How beyond classroom and textbook? What is the difference?
So that being said, so basically our children, some of the traditional thinkings will focus on just academics, whereby sometimes in the more creative classrooms, children are given proper time to think and analyze certain topics that they understand, and teacher would wait for them, which is actually more of a student-centered approach.
Can you explain this with some example, real life example?
Real life examples would be, for example, in within a traditional classroom, the teachers will only focus on finishing their contents calendar, and sometimes we have 300 days of school days, and teachers are supposed to finish certain lessons at the time of a period. But then in a classroom where students are being led, they would be given a time to explore a certain topic and to understand, and that is understanding their own interests and also representing it into a different meaning.
So do you believe in hands-on practice
We
or experiential learning?
We do have hands-on practice a lot of times, and especially, for example, our students are very big on globalization, and during our international days, they will actually collect a lot of stuff, the goodie stuff, to make sure that the events goes well. So that is beyond their social studies textbook, that is beyond the normal English textbooks, but this is their own project, and they are happy and proud to be presenting that. And of course, at the same time, there's self-esteem also goes.
Do you face any difficulty in implementing American curriculum in your country, in Myanmar specifically?
Of course, there are many difficulties, so I would like to share about that as well. So at the very beginning of implementing American curriculum, the first 3 years was very hard for us. So the teachers and students were struggling together. So the teachers would be sometimes like, they are like, so I forgot, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You can start again. We will cut.
Sure. So at the very beginning of the first 3 years of starting our school and implementing American curriculum, the teachers and students actually share the struggles together. So the teachers were also having a language issue, language exposure, and they have a limited access to modern education, and as well as the subject contents, because for the American system, they have certain subject contents that they need to map to the curriculum standards, and most of the teachers in Myanmar do not have access to that. So the first 3 years was hard, but then slowly we try to build it up.
And what other schools in Myanmar usually follows which curriculum?
In Myanmar,
it's a local curriculum, or how it is?
Mostly we do have local curriculums, but then we also have like a IGCSE program,
Cambridge,
Cambridge, and things like that.
And how American curriculum is different from Cambridge or IB?
I do not want to actually compare, because I think education always have a good intention, but then because we have to also take a look at the future. So what is future holding for us? And if our futures means a lot of uncertainties, we will have to prepare our children for problem solving and skills that they will be actually using in future.
Do you want to compare American curriculum with Chinese curriculum system, Chinese education system? How different it is?
I'm not quite familiar with the China education system, so I will not be able to compare with that.
Which education system you think is comparable with American education system or American curriculum?
I definitely know Myanmar curriculum. So, for example, as students transitioning from the Myanmar curriculum to, international or American curriculum has faced a lot of challenges as well. So one thing they will be facing is the language barrier, and the second thing, it's about more like they need to adapt to the new routines, and they need to adapt to the new teaching methods. And most of all, they struggle with the critical thinking. So what we need to, when these kids come to us, what we prepare for them is not only from the textbooks.
What kind of gaps are there in our education system which should be addressed immediately, and we should start working on those gaps immediately?
Correct. So we have a lot of gaps in education industry today, and especially the country like my country currently, because as of today the schools in Myanmar are multiplying, but we are facing serious challenges, and that is deficit in talent in market.
So what we consider Myanmar is developing country, underdeveloped country, or developed country?
I would say that we are the least developing country currently because of a lot of situations
and
right
what is
now.
the reason? What is the main situation which is not able to move Myanmar forward towards developing?
If I am going to be very frank on the camera, I will get arrested back in my country. So I can skip about that and move on to.
Right. Let's talk about gaps then.
Sure. So let me try to start with how the gaps are formed. So I actually run, like I mentioned, I was running 3 campuses, and these are the schools. One is preschool, and the other one is delivering American education from K to 8 and blending into our government curriculum. So the gaps that I want to talk about today, but also at the same time, we have to acknowledge that there are many different gaps happening in education industry, and in Myanmar especially because of the deficit of talents in market today. So that is not all. We actually have many other challenges that we face, but then if we are not going to address it right now, I think we are not going to maintain our status quo or maintain a long-term success for sure.
It means you're trying to say that there's a difficulty to hire a teacher as well in Myanmar.
We have curriculum, the gap in the curriculum. We have a student learning gap, and also, of course, the skills and talents, and information gap, that is for sure, and time gap. And I would first like to tell you how the gaps are being formed. So it starts with COVID. So my another school, Stardom School of Yangon, it was established in 2018. And during the COVID time, many schools in Myanmar struggle. Some, shut down. Some struggle to move on. And a lot of school also goes with the bare minimum, and I'm one of them. And when we reopen, we face, challenges such as the skills gap. And we have schools are short-handed, but then also in the market, the teachers don't want to come back to schools. A lot of teachers, I think, for some reasons, they like to continue the work at home. And when we tried to recruit more teachers, we didn't receive applications much. We don't know why. And in the classrooms, we have a lot of skills gap. So in the classroom, the teachers simply are out of practice, and the students are also adjusting to new routines, and we have a lot of chaos happening in the classrooms. So we had to build everything up slowly, from the teachers to administrators to management, and even students as well, of course, especially the students. So students today still suffer from the impact that we had from, COVID. And because in Myanmar, it's because of the infrastructure, it is like it's hard to implement online learning. So most of our students come back to schools with a lot of skills gap, especially reading and writing. And even today, we had to set aside some time to give them, like, practices in addition to our main curriculum. So that's why uh, these organizing the framework for our new education system currently happening, especially the private education system happening in Myanmar, is a little bit tricky and challenging.
Right. So while doing research, I came to know that you are providing or giving this American curriculum at a very less cost. So you are giving this curriculum to students at a very less cost.
Yes,
How
that's
you are
right.
managing that?
Yes, that's right. So, obviously, we want to deliver a very flexible and very affordable programs to Myanmar. Sorry, can I go again? So we are trying to deliver a very affordable American curriculum, American education program to Myanmar families, and the challenge is, within our teachers, within our students as well. So our challenges first is the language exposure, and the teachers unfamiliar with the subject content, and especially the teachers have lack of or limited access to the modern education and modern education methods and practices.
And what keep you motivating in such so many difficult situations?
Because we don't want to leave behind. Because we want to make sure that there is like some part of us going to have a place in the world, especially our new generation.
How you see Myanmar growing in future?
That is, I would address as an information gap because I do not know.
Right. So what do you think how AI is going to help your school growing, or how AI going, because artificial intelligence is a new thing now.
Right.
Are you adopting artificial intelligence in your school, or how it is?
AI is very, very like daily in our daily lives, even in Myanmar too. But then I would also like be very cautious about it, because we have like information that by 2030, 99% of the jobs will be gone because of AI. That is information that we receive, but we can't verify. So we are not certain about the future, and all these uncertainties. We have also heard about the AGI, which is super intelligence, and all these things sound very worrying, and all these are very drastic change in the very near future, and we do not know where it's going and how fast it's coming. So we first have to prepare all these uncertain futures to our students first.
Let's suppose if you become a education minister of Myanmar for one day, what will be the measure or steps you will be taking as an education minister?
I think I will get arrested too if I answer to that. Going on.
Still, what changes you think you should bring in your education system?
I think they have a good intention in what they are doing, but not just in Myanmar. I think the whole world need to realize, and I would call for a radical change for future education in Myanmar is to raise our bar. First, in the education degree entry requirements, make it as appealing for the workplace, or make it as prestigious as possible. Nearly, or probably closest to law degree or medicine or finance degree, and make sure that best and brightest minds come into our teaching workforce, so that only the best people are going to teach our children for very uncertain future, and probably a dangerous one that is coming ahead.
So do you think how you are going to produce passionate teachers in Myanmar?
Right. So currently we have skill gaps, and let me also like share with you how we address to that. So as I mentioned to you earlier, we had this curriculum gap and the skills gap. And first, we want to deliver a quality education, but then we have the challenges. So we had to come up with strategies, and to me, it's the more strategy. So we had to beef up every area in the professional development trainings and curriculum trainings, and maybe one-on-one reviewing with teachers. And in fact, me and our team, our supervision team, has started like a few years ago, that we interview our teachers very frequently on one-on-one and make sure that they feel supported and they are well prepared before they go into the real classrooms. So that is a few strategies that we implemented. But then, of course, we also make sure that a lot of systems are fall into place, and everyone, is well connected and have a strong connection with the curriculum.
Have you ever thought of creating entrepreneurs from your school? Or have you ever thought of teaching entrepreneurship to kids? Because after understanding you from you the situation of Myanmar, what I believe personally is can be improved or can be uplifted if we start creating entrepreneurs from country. When we create entrepreneurs from country, automatically economy goes up, and once economy goes up, you get money. You get money, you solve a lot of problem, because this is how the chain works.
Right, of course.
Like India, back in India, if I see past 10-year journey, we have grown so much just because of one thing. Entrepreneurship culture grown so much in India. Lot of entrepreneurs created lot of money. A lot of money started flowing from across the world, and this is how economy of GDP of India is growing now.
I think that is the only way to go in future, since we have a uncertainty future in the job market. Why don't we start thinking of implementing entrepreneurship or curriculum, the business subjects into our classrooms. And we, of course, our students are in our subjects. We blended business courses into our classrooms.
And how many schools are there in Myanmar? Private schools, if I talk about?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. How many? Any idea?
I think the schools are popping up a lot, and I do not know how. But then also it doesn't last very long. So it's actually.
What other businesses usually people do in Myanmar?
Currently, mainly they go into education, and And let me recap about the entrepreneurship. I think just now I did it. So that is also my proposal in my proposed change as well. So in our classrooms, I think we have to take serious considerations of having entrepreneurship and making our students more business-minded for future ready, because as according to the outlooks, I think this is the only way to go.
Like we created a product known as, I've invested in that product back in India. So there's a company which set up entrepreneurship labs in schools. So that is known as KEDA, that is Kids Entrepreneurship Development Academy. So they create infrastructure in such a way, and the curriculum is so strong that they build entrepreneurs from school. And that's how I believe the growth is going to happen. Because when we talk about a community, when we talk about a school is focused on education. That is very, very important. Other part of things, for example, we are into robotics. That's our core company where we set up robotics labs in schools across the world. So where we have expertise in teaching robotics to these kids. So I guess this collaborations or this kind of making a relationships with other part of the expertise is very important when we talk about growing, or when we talk about the growth of a school. So do you also believe in collaborations?
Definitely. So because I'm also an educator in the basic education, what we would usually do is to blend in all these skill sets, for example, technology into our main curriculum. So not to separate them as a subject, but in every subject, we blended. We make sure that some part of it, the students are focused on these critical thinking skills, these financial minds, and sometimes probably create new things, and get something out of it.
Right.
So that's
how you see your school after 10 years.
How do I see my schools? I will be seeing, I think, more students.
More students.
And more students and more leaders, and especially from the teachers and students.
Amazing. So if you want to give one message to the audience who will be watching this podcast, what message you want to give to a parent, to a student, and to an educator?
So I would say that,
let's start from educator. What message you want to give to an educator?
So to the educators, I really want to urge all the educators to get to know more children and get to know the real child. So if we understand our children better, and if we, take them more seriously, and if we take a look at positively into their arguments, and maybe even when they challenge you, and understanding them will make them a strong teacher, and as well as they will be better prepared and relevant in the classrooms.
Right. And to a parent?
To the parents as well, I think we adults sometimes, want our students or want our kids to follow exactly what they are told, but that this is not the same time anymore. So having the children to be heard, to be seen, and to be able to speak of their minds and to follow their dreams is what's really important.
And what about to a student?
Well, to our students, I think we need to also inspire our students daily, but then also we have, I think, for our students, we have been urging them to read and write, and that's a usual message from the teacher. But the time is changing, so we can't be just doing one thing anymore. We have to be always planning for the future, planning many multiple things for the future.
Right. And when I talk about, of course, education system, you are very close to education system, and you want to make Myanmar a very amazing education system. Tomorrow you will be meeting almost educators from across the world. Almost 35-40 nationalities are going to be there. What you are going to learn from them? What do you think? What kind of collaboration you want to do with them?
Today I just learned from you about entrepreneurship and robotics blended into the classrooms. And tomorrow I will be looking forward to exchanging our opportunities and probably to come together and think what we can do to protect our new generation future.
Amazing. So thank you so much for coming for this podcast. And
thank you.
I had amazing time. I hope this podcast is going to come very well, really very well, because a lot of things are there to learn from Myanmar as well, being a developing country and other countries as well, because you can't leave learning from anyone. You have to be on,
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for coming.